Yeah, yeah, car changing color like chameleon leather. Yeah, fly by the bridge. Yeah, roll down the trailer. Yeah, car taking thriller. Yeah, we ain't dope dealing wizards. Car changing color like chameleon leather. Yeah.
Individuals and children.
Let me ask this question. So when it came out, was he still there?
That I don't know. They did say that they have a suspect apprehended. They're not letting any names out.
Well, I seen a picture of a guy today
You did?
on Facebook. Yeah.
Wow. Did you see a name attached to it?
They saying that he's the guy that did it. And also, I'm not sure. I just looked at it.
Wow.
And I had a guy call me today and asked me about this, if I talk about this today.
Mhm.
And what he said to me was that this gentleman, I'm just going by what I don't know how true this is.
So these things are alleged.
Alleged, yeah.
These are hearsay
Right.
conversations.
Right.
So nothing is factual. We're not trying to do any negative banter, but we are trying to shine light on domestic violence. Please
Absolutely,
listen.
absolutely.
Go ahead,
So I
Kelly.
was told that this gentleman that supposedly did this, he did his other ex-girlfriend out of town like this.
Okay, so this is my point. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
There was a paper trail of him having domestic violence issues. That woman's life could have been saved.
Right.
That woman's life could have been saved.
So
You know,
so I mean, cause let's jump here. Is love that blind?
love is that blind sometimes. Because I always got a story for everything.
Right.
I've been in a domestic violence situation, but I was young. I was just leaving home, had 2 jobs, doing everything my money could do for me. New car, and I did not want to listen to my mom anymore. So I packed up all my things. My mom went to work. I was packing my things. I moved to Arlington. So when I meet this guy and I go and visit his parents, I mean his family, guess what they say? Ooh, where you meet her at? Sidebar, Amy, girl, what's going on? Where you meet her at? Girl, you better be careful. Sidebar, cousin. You know your mama be there. You know, all the things, all the warning signs are there. But guess what? You never hit me. Oh, he's handsome. Oh, I got a whole 2-bedroom apartment. Oh my gosh, and I kept getting the warning signs. I'm seeing him get into it with other people, but not me, because we hadn't encountered a crisis yet.
Right.
So when we encountered a crisis, I never forget. I came home, and the problem was I left him alone all day to work. Afterwards, I went to my second job. He didn't have a way to go get him anything to eat. So I come home.
We didn't have Uber then.
At all. At all.
Yeah.
I come home. I'm getting the clothes out of the dryer. Folded the clothes. Now I'm ironing his shirt for Sunday service because he was a drummer. So I'm ironing the shirt, and he's going off. You know, he's bitching. When I say he's going off, I'm like, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. You know, I'm just ironing. And the next thing you know, he pushes me so hard in the back of my head, it's like my neck popped. And the next thing you know, the Leo in me, oh, I gotta get you.
You had an iron in your hand.
So there I go, with the iron in my hand, wailing. Now, mind you, I can handle this. Take him on to the ER. Come on.
Wait a minute.
Literally.
Hold on. So what did you do to him?
I hit him, beat him with that iron.
Did you burn him?
Burned him up.
Oh boy. Y'all heard that?
Went to the ER. Almost got apprehended and took to jail. I was able to get out of there. So I told my mom, I said, Jamira, come on right now. But guess what? No, I'm getting ready to endure this because there's no way that me being grown is gonna defeat me, and I'm not gonna listen to you. I have my mind made up because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Not listening to the Lord, not listening to none of the signs that were already told to me. So I go back. 2 weeks later, he beats me black and blue.
And you seen the signs.
And I saw the signs. People see the signs. Love is not blind. Let me tell you something. God's love is insightful. God's love is enduring. God's love will give you the desires of your heart. Nothing of God will hurt you. You are not supposed to endure bodily harm. You are not supposed to do verbal abuse. Love is not blind. Love is foretelling.
Right. Okay.
I'm not sure that's your
All right.
awesome.
Hey, I'm here doing a podcast about your aunt. Yeah, you want to chime in?
We love for them to call in.
We're in the middle of the podcast right now. I can send you the number so you can call in.
Yeah, we got the nephew,
Okay,
nephew
I'm gonna
Jimmy
send you
on the
another
phone.
number.
He's about to call in to the show.
Metcalf.
I mean, Regina Metcalf, I'm sorry. And nephew's about to call in.
Awesome, awesome.
So, do you think while we getting the phone keyed up here, do you think? Well, hang on. Do you think most times this domestic this domestic challenge come from possibly a little boy seeing his dad or somebody?
Yes. But I've discovered, like, I'll be 50 my birthday.
Okay.
I have seen so many men grown have a little boy demeanor. And that's because they have calcified, compounded interest as a little kid, as a teenager, and as an adult where they've never gotten healing. Thus,
Right.
it forms an abusive man.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Either he's going to be verbally abusive or physically abusive. And then you even find some that are so disgruntled where they stagnate themselves,
Right.
their own self growth.
Well, one thing I say is if these grown men as they get older, you got that little boy inside of you that you have to release. And I tell all women, go stand in front of that mirror and you say today, I'm going to release this little boy inside of me. I want to be a better person starting today. So once you release that person, even women, release that little girl inside of you
Yes.
because especially boys, when boys they fight their rejection. They
Yes.
come on and say, well, I wanted a father figure. I didn't have a father figure. And just like with my new program I'm starting to call Uncles, I just said the other day that, in my opinion, an uncle is more important than a father.
Yeah, because I remember me being able to tell my uncle stuff that I could tell my dad.
Right.
Yeah. So what is your take, Erica, on the domestic violence that we're experiencing here in the city, and what tips could you give women to protect themselves?
First off, I want everyone to know that I stand here representing my culture and I also represent the kingdom of God. So you're going to hear me speak about what I see going on within our culture as the African American dark skin experience that we have. And I'll also be speaking of my experience with the Holy Spirit because I'm very familiar with both.
Right.
So first thing I want to say is, unfortunately, in the Black culture, for many years, generations now, we have not had a strong family structure that's being outrightly presented to the community. We don't see mothers and fathers sticking together, raising their children and leading them in the right direction. Personally, we may see it on TV. We may know one person who has experienced that. But for the most part, we have grown up in single mother households, or we've grown up in single father households. We haven't seen how it's supposed to be done righteously. So we are creatures of habit. We can tell a person all day, don't you do that,
Cultural practice.
don't do it. But from learned behavior, we have no choice but to repeat what we see.
Right.
So when you see your mom struggling as a single mother, doing the best she can, the bills are more than what she gets paid. And you see her having a boyfriend or two, or a trick, or a sugar daddy. She's doing it because she thinks that is her way out. And she's doing it thinking that if she can provide the monetary support, then everything will be okay. But the mother doesn't understand that you may be providing money, but you are praising things that don't matter and are temporary. Money comes and goes. And as the children look at their mother and they're having these relationships for money, they're transactional. when they grow up, they have transactional relationships. They don't know how to love a woman. They just want to pay her for what they want, and then they move on. They don't want emotional attachment because they don't know how to do it. And often, when you introduce something new to an individual and they're not familiar with it, they're afraid that they're going to mess up and they will move around. They'll say, oh, it's too much for me. Oh, it's too difficult. And they will run from the challenge. The problem is we are not challenging one another by raising our own standards, raising the standard not just in our relationships with outside people, but the standard that we have inside of us for who we are and for what we want. And I remember asking my mother one day, Mom, how could you let all these things happen? My mom didn't have those type of issues, but she had issues that were detrimental to our development. And she said, I could only give you what I had. So it helped me to understand that A, my mom is not superwoman, and B, she's only a resource. And she can only give to me from her source. And her source wasn't so healthy. So she embodied that. And when she had kids, she just passed on what she knew. It wasn't so bad to her because she knew it so well. He's trying to call. I didn't speak.
Oh,
Hello?
no, did he try to
I
call
think
me?
you try to call me.
Okay. Okay.
You try to call me?
He said he's gonna call in.
Okay, awesome.
So,
He's gonna get ready to call me and ask.
so when we look at our parents as the example, we've already messed up. I know it sounds hard, but we have to understand that our parents are just people.
Right.
They are not a perfect God, and they can only give you what they have. So when she told me that, I asked, could I be mad at my mother? Or do I need to be mad at my grandparents because they gave her what she had? Or am I upset with their parents because of them, they have what they have? So at the end of
You know
the
what?
day,
Let me jump in a second. That's a great analogy what you just said. Who do I be mad at? My
Right.
great grandparents, my grandparents, my mother, because it's
Well-
like it's a repetitive cycle.
But this is the thing, you can only be mad if you're of age to be accountable for it. A child can be mad at the parents.
Right.
A teenager can be mad at the parents.
Right.
But a young adult and adult, it's time for you to look at yourself.
at the end of the day, I think, now this is where the word comes in, right? Because we are spirit and body.
That's right.
The problem is a lot of people are moving in bodies and they
Right.
forget the supernatural spirit that operates this body.
So the number one tool that could be a form of protection or a spot on resource, the number one is to make sure that you have God in your life. You know, that's if you believe. You know,
Exactly.
whoever your creator is,
We got
you know, use him for your protection.
Well, for me, it helped to understand that my mother in her physical flesh can only go so far. She can only do so much. She can really, truly only give me what she had. So why be mad at her?
Right.
In fact, I felt sorry for her because I realized what I was lacking, she was lacking too. So it took the anger out of the whole equation, and it helped me to see her as a person who was trying to make it just like me.
Right.
Right. Oh, wow.
Right. So that means that sometimes she may not have all the answers because she wasn't equipped. She didn't come equipped. And can I blame her for that? No, I could, but it'll be years of fighting and no camaraderie, no
Right.
love, no
So-
ability to come together and build what God really wanted us to have.
At what point does the child, or what point does the man or woman transition into protecting their being?
Oh, well,
You know, my thing is, as me getting older throughout the years and dating, I'm a single mom. I got tired. I got tired of being mistreated. I got tired of being talked to any kind of way. So what can we tell these young men and young women to do in the moment to transition to no to de-escalate a negative situation to prevent domestic violence?
You remember when, well, this is maybe a few months or maybe a year ago, when the 15-year-old boy came into the restaurant and the guy was assaulting his mom and he shot and killed?
Yes. Okay.
So somebody was telling me that she should have kept her mouth closed.
Okay.
And, you know, just because you don't shut your mouth, that doesn't give nobody the right to put their hands on
Come
you.
on.
You know, this
You're totally right.
this America, and nobody should have to be quiet.
And
As they say on the streets, I'm not gonna let you trick me off the street.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what happens when you decide you gonna put your hand on somebody because you don't know how this gonna turn out.
That's right.
It ain't a 50-50 thing. It can be 51-49, but you can rest assured something bad gonna happen for you if you put your hand on somebody.
I thought that at first, when they first got into the argument, she was really trying to de-escalate him. And then it like went left. So to me, once it went left, she had a choice. She had a choice. Knowing you got a child with you, you had a choice.
Right.
Whether to keep bumping and escalate the situation or to walk away.
Right.
So at what point, what does it take for us to walk away?
Well, let me tell you.
I don't have to win.
I walked away, and I've had them chase me. I've had them find me.
All that. Yeah.
But let me tell you, it's not about physically moving.
That's right.
It's not about the
That's
physical
right.
move. It's the spiritual move that you take within yourself first, and that move is that mirror experience. That saved my life. I had a mirror experience. You look in a mirror, and can you be happy with what you see? If you look in a mirror and you're not happy with what you see, then ask yourself, what is it that I'm not happy about?
Right.
Make sure you do self-evaluation. A lot of people say, oh, they feel it and they keep moving, but they never nurture their own soul. They never pay attention to what they really need. Ask yourself, what do you need and are you getting?
You know, this is what I see in our culture. We as a culture, we are nurturers. I even see it, black brothers, like some men's homeboys are almost more important than their woman. You know, and some women's girlfriends are almost more important than their marriage. So you have to ask yourself, like, where is the balance? You know, where's the balance? And then again, what does a man do? What does a woman do to de-escalate? If that when the police was called for Regina Metcalf, after the police left, had one of them left?
That's what I wanted to
You know,
say.
she'd still be alive.
Right.
You know, if that woman had shut up, she's, you know, that situation would have escalated.
I got something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I stand with you, and you. Both of you have very good points. But I also stand on the fact that we have the freedom of speech, and we should never allow anyone to stop us from speaking. Our ancestors fought too hard for us to be able to speak and to have to fight our own kind to speak our truth is a problem. I think the number one thing we have to do is evaluate ourselves, know who we are, know what we want. If we don't know who we are and what we want, then we have no business in a relationship in the first place. Secondly, we need to set our own standards. Standards means this is where I'm at. You meet me here or you don't. Don't come down from where you are. Don't negotiate your value. Know who you are. And secondly, set boundaries. You're getting too far. You have gone past the brink of what I will accept. Knowing yourself, knowing what you want and what you do not want is the first step. And then standing up for it.
What do you have to say to the broken woman who has endured domestic violence, and she's enduring it, but she doesn't think she needs to leave. What do you have to say to that woman? Because they're out there. I see them. I even see the children acting extremely timid, and the mom acting passive, and the dad is talking over here, talking over there. But you see this weird situation with your wife and your offspring. What do we do for the woman who thinks that she's okay?
Before you jump in and say, let me say this. So our listeners out there that's listening, need y'all to call in and be a part of this discussion tonight. I'm speaking about domestic violence. We're speaking about the situation that happened to Miss Regina Metcalf in Duncanville, where my partner was set on fire.
She was shot.
She was shot in the head, and we asking tonight, when you see the red flag, when you see the signs, when do you leave? And come on,
When is enough enough?
Yeah, enough. So be a part of this discussion. Go ahead.
I would say the first time, we always give people all these chances, right? I give you another chance.
Yes.
If you do it one more time. But we don't understand that one time, that first time was the time.
Yes.
They have, my mother would always say, if a person shows you who you are, who they are, believe them. We question when someone treats us bad, they slight us, they take from us. Like, oh, but we've been friends for one more time. There should not be any more times. The first time they let you know how they really felt about you. Now you make sure you let me know how you feel about you. A lot of times in our culture, we don't call the police. We don't like calling the police. And I think
But there are times that we can call the police, and they come as a problem.
But what I'm saying, I'm going to jail, calling the police.
Seriously?
From
Yes.
being, so frustrated they came and took me to jail. I was like,
Wait a minute, you went to jail?
I went to jail for calling the police, so I understand.
So, but I want to ask you this question because you didn't jump into it. Let us hear about your experience that you may have had with domestic violence, and what was the outcome, and how did that
Affect you
Okay,
long term.
I'll try to make it very short and sweet. I was a victim of sexual abuse for 8 years growing up. I moved out the house at 15. When I moved out, I was murderous. I was fighting all the time, and I knew I was about to kill somebody. And it was either leave or stay. Leave and prove, leave and prove that I am who I am, or stay and prove I am who I am. And when I looked at my situation, I said, I'll take my chances. And I ran. And I got my first apartment at 16. But because I was so young, I had to drop out of school. I was going to Townview Law Magnet. I couldn't focus on my studies. I want people to know that abuse does not just touch your body, but it touches your soul. And it came as a tool from the enemy to kill, steal, and destroy the purpose that God already predestined for your life. So, because I was in church before I was being touched, God already knew what I was going to go through, so He embedded me with the word from Him. So, when I went through everything I went through, and He said, you can kill him, and he deserves it. But then what will happen to you? I said, oh. He said, if you kill him and you never call for help, no one ever knew what was going on. If you kill him, you will go to prison for the rest of your life. You're going to throw away the promise I have for you for him. For what? So I had to leave. And when I left, I ended up with a person that wasn't good for me. He was my best friend at the time. He was the only person I could talk to about what I had gone through. So I was like, I need you. We need each other. Let's work it out. His mother had been in prison all his life for murder. He grew up with women who were hustlers. His granny used to be a gang
The
banger.
mindset.
Was different, right?
He grew up fighting, he's fighting rejection.
Right.
Yes.
And not just rejection, but he's also understanding. See, his older sister dated nothing but dope dealers. His second oldest sister was a dope dealer. And the third sister worked in corporate America. his granny used to be a banker. So when the first ideal he got of women, was that. So when he started dealing with me, he didn't know how to deal with a broken woman because these women, they were fighting.
Yeah,
I'm hustled, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. But he didn't know how to nurture a broken woman, a hurting woman. And I didn't know how to nurture him because he never knew his dad, and I used to make fun of him. He was light skinned, long curly hair. I say, your daddy, I believe up there is 70,
Yeah.
You look just like him.
Yeah.
And we learned to make fun of our pain. We learned to
And
laugh.
we do that a lot.
You have to have humor in your pain.
Right.
That's right.
That's what a lot of people miss out on in life. You
Yeah.
understand? Make something positive. You gotta make it a joke sometimes.
Mhm.
I literally have a nervous disorder. Like when I get really, really nervous or scared about something, I get the giggles and literally cannot turn it off. Oh,
Me too.
it's bad.
Well, unfortunately, both of us were hurting, and I didn't. My first impression with men were good, so I didn't know how to love him right. He didn't know how to love me right, and we were just exchanging pain. It was two hurt people thinking that they could come together and heal each other, and what we were two people like broken glass. And we were bouncing off the walls at each other, just cutting each other, bouncing off the walls, cutting each other. And we'll come back and say, I'm sorry, let me heal you. Let me heal you. But every time he came to heal me, he cut me. And every time I came to heal him, I cut him because we didn't know anything but pain. That's why I say it's important if you are trying to be in a relationship to have you together first. Because hurt people will hurt people. So he cheated on me. Went to jail. It's the black people. I tried to.
So it's okay. I wanna ask
And when
this.
I say the black, I mean the regurgitated pain of our culture.
Right.
It's not the skin, because the skin is beautiful. I mean the regurgitated pain is, I'll fight you. If you think you bad, I'm bad.
Yeah.
So, but God, it took for
The
me to go.
rebellion.
Yeah.
It took for me to go through that when I was getting in the back of the police car. He walked back upstairs with this woman into my house, and I couldn't do anything about it. I'm sitting
Well,
here.
you sat there in that car filming.
Yeah, that's how she looking at it.
I was sitting in the car like, you gonna let him go back in my house? I named the police. Why would you? But you're right. The police, there's only so much they'll do. And they feel like you should have got yourself in a situation in the first place, so they're not willing to go too far because they trying to make it home to their
What
family.
do y'all think about when the police tells a paper trail of domestic violence that, defend yourself?
That's what he told me.
Now, see, this
They don't
is
stand
where
on that.
they
But
just
if you
stand on
do-
it.
but if you do it-
If you have, let me tell you, I got a whole story for this one. I know a lady whose children were getting molested for about 12 years. She was married to an NFL player. NFL player. They had all a domestic violence paper trail as long as we 12. It got so bad, they finally separated, dislocated eyeballs, all kind of contusions, all kind of crazy stuff. She stayed with this man, so they finally separated. He tries to take the last child, boom, shot him and killed him. Guess what? She did not go to jail. She did not do any time because she secured herself by having a paper trail.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, the best way to secure yourself is to get away from that.
You're right.
Understand your
Yeah, I was
value.
just about to say that.
You're
And
totally
understand
right.
your value, because when I was sitting in the back of the police car and they walked back up into my house, I said, when I caught them cheating on me, I thought that me putting my hands on would stop the pain that I was feeling. But while I was sitting in the police car, I did everything I thought I came to do. And I couldn't stop. You cannot control another person.
Yeah.
You can't control what they're gonna do, but you can't control your actions.
Right.
So I decided I would never let anyone else have that kind of control over
And let me
me.
say this, that was God. God had to paint a picture for you in your mind, and sit you down at the same time to constantly see that picture.
that you will never go back to.
No,
Them walking up them steps together was a picture
never.
that you will never forget.
No.
And you stood on it. And you had enough time in that jail cell to understand what you want to go through. So that was God showing you a picture that you would never want to go back to.
And that it, God is always
In the
speaking
picture.
to us. He's
Yeah.
always drawing us back to the will that He has for us.
Mhm.
Because the will that He has for us is perfect. It may not be picture perfect to the world because God's people are peculiar people, but they have a mission, and the mission is to save another soul. The
Every
mission
day.
is to touch another life. But how can we save another soul and touch another life if our life is torn to pieces? And so the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy our hope. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy our motivation, our movement. He wants to make us stop moving. And every time I would try to elevate, he would try to snatch me down or cause blockages in my way, come up to my job and cause problems at work. So I thought, well, he'll probably down if I do this, if he do. No, there's no more time for God's children to be passively walking on eggshells around the enemy. When they let you know they've come for you, you let them know that you come to defend yourself by the mighty word of God and by His sword. And then what you gotta do is pray over your house. You gotta pray over yourself. I talk to a lot of people and I tell them about God. They tell me how much they love God, but they don't even have a Bible in their house.
Right.
They're not even reading the word of God.
Right.
And the word says, train up a child in the way they should go, and as they grow, they shall not depart. So he didn't say, show them good, and they won't depart. Show them, but he said, whatever you teach them, they will not depart from it. And the only way we can depart from it is when we become new creatures in Christ. It's the only thing that saved my life. It's when I realized that my blood wasn't no good. When I realized that what came to make me wasn't enough to take me where God was trying to take me to. I had to go back to my source. See, everything else out here is a resource. The money, the man, the cars, the everything. It's a resource. And we glorify the resource. That's why so many people are hurting. Because they're scared to leave that man. They're scared to leave the woman.
So sit in line for them in the back.
That's why so many people going through what they're going through.
Yeah,
Because they
yeah.
have been codependent. I realized that I was going through what I was going through because I felt like I needed him. So I accepted the things that he was doing. But when God showed me that he is my source and he will take care of everything that I need, I had to learn to cut people off that were no good for me and stand on my faith and watch God move. A lot of people don't know how to stand on faith because mama, granny, ain't in them. They talk about it, but they don't show them how to move with God. They don't Bible study with them. They don't teach them how to interpret the revelation that they receive from God. So a lot of people have a sense of spirituality, but they don't know God for themselves. And the only way we can break these generational curses caused by generational choices is to choose life so we may live.
Mr. McGee,
Mr.
Mr. McGee, can I ask the question?
Yes, ma'am. Come on, Miss Ashley.
How do you feel, or what do you think about community accountability? Because we're talking about the individual relationships, and we're talking about how not having that personal family to help guide these young men and young women to not stay in domestic violence situations. But what happened to community accountability? We used to have men that used to be able to stop other young men from doing this. We used to have women that knew how to take hold, even when that young lady didn't listen. They found a way to stop it before it got, even if it took a group of women to show up at that house. But we have lost our community accountability because we don't want to be involved. We don't want to feel like we're just being nosy and being in people's business. So I've noticed a lot of people just kind of like sit back.
And that's the
And
thing.
we can pray, but if we're not doing nothing,
Faith without words. That's why when I first came over here. Okay. When I first came over here, because the community, like I'm an only child, so when I would leave my mom and I would come to Oak Cliff or I would come to South Dallas, the community, this is what I saw. And so me seeing all the grown-ups able to hang out under the bridge and all that, I was like, gosh, so when I get grown, I can go and have a drink and hang out under the bridge. And so Margo was like, shit, I think I see you over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that's what I saw my uncle doing, and we would go and pick him up late at night. So my thing is, if you have a community that shows you a negative reflection, and you go to the park and you see the people at the community at the park, they're not exercising, they're laid out asleep. Some might even have a little trashy tent set up over here. When you see these things in your community, you don't have anything to do but do what they're doing. You know, you can walk up the street. When I first came over here, I could not stand pulling up here and seeing the slab. And what I tell you, I said, Kelvin, I got this great idea. Let's go over there, let's clean up the slab. I had a vision. I see the turf, I see benches, I see a beautiful tree, I see a stress walk. You know, I see it. But guess what? Man, don't mess with that. Now Calvin, he was listening, he was receptive to the idea. But nobody else really wanted to change. Don't mess with the culture. That's a part of the culture.
That's a problem.
So if that's a part of the culture, this is my thing. Whose culture? Because it ain't a part of mine.
Thank you.
I mean, last time I checked, I was from royal descendants. Last time I checked, God's skin color the same color as mine. So why do we have to live like this? You have people over there in China with box houses, like a person's house is as big as this. Super clean, super neat. Not over here. You know, you're not gonna find.
That's the culture.
Okay, but guess what? Just because that's this area's culture doesn't mean that it can't change.
That's right. That's right.
So at what point are we gonna change? You know? Like
Come on, Bob.
We have a street code that we've been living by for years. The street codes and ethics and stuff like that, and when we grew up, you understand that we lived by. Like, you wasn't supposed to snitch on people. You weren't supposed to get in people's business and all this. When you go through life, and parents are still teaching kids this today.
do you think that's right?
No,
Okay.
because everything is supposed to be modified through
That's
growth.
right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything's supposed to change. You supposed to grow
That's
with it.
right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the things that we went on back in the day, it was cool because it wasn't as much killing. It wasn't as much kids with guns. You know what I'm saying? And now the parents are still teaching the kids. I mean, like 17-year-old boy got guns and have to pay money.
Well, and guess what? That's the same thing. Like the guy, remember I just was talking about the case out here at GameStop.
Mhm.
It was the mom's gun.
Thank you.
You know, and
Yeah.
go ahead,
Okay,
go ahead.
I want to chime in because it's going to piggyback off of Miss Ashley. Her question was, what happened to community accountability? I'm telling you what happened to community accountability. We ran out of examples. So, let me tell you, when crack hit the street, the preachers, the teachers, the parents, they were seen in a trap, and the young men were selling this dope, and they see the teacher, and they see the preacher, they see the deacon, and they're like, I don't believe in the church, I ain't going to school this, and you know, he was in, my mama, I seen your mama down here. So what happened was, people back in the 60s and 50s going back, parents used to keep things out of the children's sight.
Right,
There used to be a rule.
They
It
cared
ain't
more.
no- It ain't no kids in this room,
Yes.
No more standards.
kids are over here. It was a separation, it was a divide. And the parents stopped parenting because
Yeah.
they found other things to entice them that took them away from their obligation.
Yes.
And the children saw that, and it caused them to not just be hurt, but disheartened and also disrespectful. They're like, how can I respect you? You're supposed to be buying us food, but you over here doing this. The food stamps gone because you gave them to the dope man. The light keep getting turned off. How can I respect that? If we want our children to respect, we have to give them something to respect.
Yeah, and that's understandable. You know what I'm saying? But we grew up in a culture where our mothers was, you know what I'm saying, on drugs and dope, and we still have respect.
Do you still have respect for women?
Of course.
Did it ever change your perspective of a woman?
At all, it made me understand women are powerful. You know
Right?
what I'm saying? Women are the most gorgeous thing we have in this world. I
Oh,
have
right. So
to
you better not say the wrong thing.
yeah, I was raised by women. Period. You know what
And
I'm
see, you
saying?
know what? Now that's a different dynamic. When you find a man that is raised by women, he has a different view
And broken
a different
women.
right. He has a different view and a different perception on how to treat a woman. Now he may be overly assertive or overly nurturing,
Mhm.
but there's no question about that you do know
But you know
how
what's so
to act.
crazy? In this culture, that's what women disrespect.
Exactly, the nice guy.
Yeah,
They disrespect
and
the
that
nice
makes
guy.
that nice guy get back rebellious. Like, why am I even trying for?
See, that's the issue. We allow the outside circumstances to change who we are to the core. We should just say, you know what, I won't be dealing with this type of person,
That's the
but
way.
I will never change who I
That's the
am. And
way.
if I do change, I'll just be a better version of
But
that.
see, but this what happens when you do that. The woman say, you neglecting me. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have to act like that toward a woman, you know what I'm saying? To say, okay, I can't deal with it no more. You know what I'm saying? I know my where I'm at in life. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I can't deal with you no more. You know what I'm saying? They look at us like we hurt them. We battle. They gonna start using it as an excuse. And you be like, and you start pushing yourself like, damn, I'm a bad dude for it.
Let me jump in and say, hey y'all, this is another edition of Sack Dallas Politics. Hey y'all got to call in 945-800-8205 because this is a great show. And not only is it a great show, this may have to end up in continuous because we cover some great things here and we get it from 4 different point of views. And you know, normally it's one side, but we got 2 males here and we got 3 females. I just thought about that. Ashley, so we still outnumber men, but I want to ask you. I know now Ashley, she by herself, but I want to ask this question here. What's greater, physical or emotional?
Well,
That's a good one.
I get on that.
okay, I'm gonna say women are emotional. So it's in our nature to give that first unless you've been trained another way.
Yes.
And me, because I roll extremely calculated, I change for who I'm dealing with.
So okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you a wait a minute, I'm gonna give you a chance here. I'm gonna give you a chance. Give an example of both physical and mental. And I want it from you also. And then I want to get it from you.
You go first, Erica.
Hold on, Miss Erica.
You got it. You got it, girl.
Okay. Okay, well, the emotional to me is when a man is consistent. I love gifts and stuff like that, but when a man is consistent with me, like the good mornings, the good nights, and what you doing, baby? How's your day? You know, that's emotional to me.
Yeah.
You know, that's emotional, and it's because I can tell you the backstory on it. I grew up with a single mom. My dad was extremely ambitious. He was about his career, and my mom was too. So I was a loner single, you know, raised by a single mom. But my dad was that. He was that pattern of consistency that touched my emotions.
But he whooped. So he whooped you with emotion.
Hold on.
Okay,
Hold on.
okay, gotcha.
And so that pattern of protectional, physical, it didn't come from me, it came from my mom. Okay? And so when the dynamics change like that, it broadens things. True. It broadens things. And so it'll take trials and tribulations and different things to sculpt the person into being able to accept physical or being able to accept emotional. Me, I'm emotional first. I put that up as a protection.
Okay.
Emotions are always lead to physical.
Women
stand.
I was just about to say that.
If you get to a woman's mental, physical come along with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
right?
And that's why I'm different. I mean,
You did? Uh-oh.
See,
Are we gonna get on that too? Hold on.
it's okay because I'm a little different. I'm a loving woman. And because I know that I'm sensitive and I know that I'm loving, that's not the first one to see for you. May see my natural spirit shine. My love, my general love for all people. You will see that. But off top, it's physical. Let me see what you can do. Let me see your words match your actions. And when I'm dealing with relationships, we're still talking about trying to prevent domestic violence.
Right.
Because I have been a victim of domestic violence, because I have that in my heart, because I have been enticed by things that I see, even though I may be physical first, it'll take a while before you can get to my heart. It'll be a long time before you get to my heart. You're gonna have to move stuff.
let me ask you a question. So, do you think that it's like me? I guess I protect my emotions by not challenging what that person can do. Yeah, because my thing is, like, my dad was a catering dad. Like, when he was around, oh gosh, if you were with me, he gonna give all of us something, you know. So that's not it. It's like I'm wanting the protection. I want that man to recognize my emotion and protect that.
Well, for me, when I would share my emotions, I felt that they would try to use it as a weapon against me. So I'm still a loving, and I can love you and never tell you not understand your face, not be there for you. But it's hard for me to expose that vulnerable part of who I am
I do
because
not like to be vulnerable.
I
That's
know
it,
that an unhealed person can masquerade or veil, cloak himself to be emotionally attached to me, and he's so emotionally detached. But you just learn how to manipulate emotionally, how to emotionally manipulate women. Yeah, a lot of, in the day and age that we live in, unfortunately, there's a lot of men who prey on women. They don't live to protect and provide. They live to prey on women because they become codependent. They haven't learned how to stand on their own. And I want a husband. And I don't need somebody that I love you. I'm gonna eat. I don't know. Where you gonna work? I don't know.
Like, I don't even position myself to get illy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I want you to show me that you are the man you say you are. And then I think that's
so pull the softness out of me. That's basically what I'm saying. Pull it out of me.
Keep it, but don't
Ernie.
expose it because
Ernie.
Come on, Ashley.
Earn the softness out of me.
But I don't want to have to tell you though, because if I tell you, then
But that's where they're happy to learn from other men with real experience.
right.
So it's not a lot of stuff
Are we supposed to give them a guide to what to do? Like,
No,
I have found myself giving a guy a blueprint on how to date me.
and this is why we need the uncles.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
This is why we need the men to come out here and help these young men. I seen a video on Facebook not too long ago where a teacher, had a literal class teaching men how to take a young lady on a date, where to sit,
Etiquette.
How
you know, back in the day, they used to have Jack and Jill used to be really, really popular.
But
yeah, it's still around, but the requirements to get into Jack and Jill are horrible. I think etiquette should be taught and introduced to all schools, and especially in our Black communities for our children at these YMCA's and different things like that. Yes, we have to.
I had to take etiquette classes online because I couldn't find any in my community. Because I left home at 15, and at 16, I'm working. At 15, I'm working. But for 10 years, I worked for Whataburger because I couldn't break into another field. I didn't have an education. And so I found myself working 2 jobs. So not only was I missing the mental fortification, but I was missing the social interactions with people. I didn't know how to do it properly. So they have classes online. It's when you realize who you are, you'll realize what you want. And it's funny because people ask me all the time, yeah, so what do you want? I don't know. But I can tell you what I don't want.
Right.
Because I knew what I didn't want before I knew what I wanted. And
Because of your experiences.
right, and a lot of us may have to learn what we want from what we didn't want. However it is that you have to get it, you need to know you first. If you don't take care of you, who else is going to do it? If you put your life in someone else's hands and you have to pray they treat you right. But if you put your life in God's hands, He will walk you through it, even in bad situations. I had a neighbor slap me. Listen,
Wait a minute. You
My eye went crazy.
you had a neighbor slap you?
slap me, okay? I used to fight. Remember, I was murderous when I left, okay? So I used to fight all the time. They used to call me Rocky on the street. So
Okay.
that's how mean my right and left was. But I was fighting so much. God said, I will bless those who bless, and I will curse those who curse. Be careful what side you're on. That's why vengeance is God, says the Lord. Because we're called ourselves trying to defend ourselves, and we end up in a situation. I remember it was the neighbor back in the day, she tried to come in with a box of it. I wasn't trying to kill me, girl. And
What was your name before you? Thunderbird calling the bird.
You all know Rocky calling.
But listen, I've had a woman come at me with a butcher knife. I'm telling you, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. You don't have to do anything but let your light shine. You don't have to do anything but overcome the last thing he threw at you. And the lady was trying, the neighbor was getting into it with my mom. My mom was 62 years old. Buying some sexy. Okay? Leave her alone. Don't bother her. Find something else to do. She kept arguing with my mom back and forth. And I just had a talk with her. I said, look, if y'all can't talk, don't talk. You go over there and she'll be over here. Don't knock on her door. Don't ask her for anything else because they used to beg all the time. And I was the one that beg and need him taken from you. They have the biggest problem with you.
Hurt people.
So I'm outside. I'm wiping down the car, and I guess she told her boyfriend, husband, or whatever something elaborated because I just said if y'all don't talk, don't talk. He came and he acted like he wanted to charge me up time crazy. I said, look, I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to send you to jail and whoever else wrong with you. You're going to jail. God said, Erica, be still and see the salvation of the Lord. So I said, okay, because we can do it either way. But the way that God is moving in my life, I have to set an example. What? My niece is in the house. My niece is, she's feisty like I used to be. And I'm trying, she's got a baby, and I'm trying to get her to understand that that's not going to work anymore. You know, when I was a child, I did those things, but as you grow, you got to know it's another child, it's another life looking for you for answers. And if you go to jail, who's going to be there?
Yes.
So I'm outside, and the wife's girlfriend, she comes out and she talks crazy. I say, man, whatever y'all want to do, I'm just telling you. If you put your hands on me, you're going to jail. I know you want me to fight you, but you don't know you don't want me to fight you. And before I put my hands on you, I'm going to put you where you need to be. We don't play with the devil. When the devil comes for you and he tell you, I want your life, say, if you're bad enough to take it, come on. And then call for your help. Amen. Call for the help that's going to come and fight for you. God, I already knew he told me to stand still. I stood. She came came, she pushed me from the back. They always cowards. They always come from the back.
Look me in my face.
From the back. So I said, that keep your hands to yourself, man. Don't push me again. Don't do it again. She want me to get mad. I'm smiling. I'm talking to her.
Hey, man, you
Smile on
gotta
my
kill
face.
them all with that
Listen,
smile.
look,
Right.
if I put my hands on you, you're gonna know that you didn't want that. But I know that the devil can steal, kill, and destroy.
So you
So
still
if I
thinking.
put my hands on you, then the devil will have his way with me.
But you
I'm not gonna play with you. I'm recording everything you're doing, and you're gonna go to jail. She slapped me. I said, you thought it was a game. My niece is standing next to me. She said, oh no, you put your hands on my ankle. You think you're the only one? I said, no, baby. Then I moved. Then my feet moved. Then I get moved out of position. She didn't even have what she thought she had, but she fit to have what I told her was on the way. I called the police and and she went to jail. And that's how you deal with the enemy. That's how you deal with
The
domestic
right way.
violence.
The
If you
right
put
way.
your hands on me,
The right way.
and I tell people when God tried to date me and it seemed feisty, I said, well, you know what? I don't even ask, do you like women? I just say, man, you know what? I don't fight. I just say, I don't fight. I call 911. I'm not gonna call my brother. I'm not gonna call my cousin. I'm calling 911 and I'm gonna tell you up.
Right.
When you let them know, I'm not playing with you. I'm not a child and you're not gonna put your hands on. I've been raised.
Have you ever had? Go ahead. Have you ever had the situation where you've been in the middle of two friends or two sisters fighting? I want to say this is in 96, 97.
Oh, okay, we going back.
Yeah, 96, 97. No, 98, 99. So we're riding, we're leaving North Dallas and we're coming on the freeway. I'm in the car with two sisters. Mind you, in an old Toyota Corolla. One of the sisters was a little bit bigger than me, and the other sister was probably the size of me if you put together. I'm in the passenger seat.
Now, kid, that's all you
Listen, I'm in the passenger seat. The other sister's behind me and the other one's driving. They're arguing so bad, we're swerving in the turn right there. How Han used to turn right there?
Right.
We're swerving. I said, listen, y'all, please. I said, y'all, please, we don't have to argue like this. I said, Christy, stop arguing with Brian before you kill him. Stop arguing before you kill him. So I look back. When I look back, all I saw was this coming in my eye.
How you get hit? Did you know?
Yes!
What you do?
And so at this point, they're still arguing. She done popped me in my eye. And I'm like, okay, let me put my dummy can boots on. I done reach down, I put my boots on. Because I know what I'm getting ready to do. I got registered hands. I done took 4 years kickboxing. I'm getting ready to get up and shit like that. So I said, okay, Lord, calm down. So I turn around
You need to
again.
calm down.
Listen, but mind you, I still got these boots on. I just took my braids out of my hair. Just got me a good wrap. So I reached back and I said, I did like this. I said, Christy, don't hit me again, but y'all gotta stop. I'm trying to stop them. Why? She pulls me to the back. And when she pulls me by my shoulders. Now mind you, I'm in the back. And I'm trying to get away from her. I'm trying to push away from her. I finally get back up in the front. And I'm like, oh my God, now we're pulled over. I feel something all on my, like running down me. So I do like this, y'all. All my hair was in my head. I started shaking. I looked at my feet, my boots was on. I got up. I opened that back door. I went in. And I went in. I literally made her get out of the car after I handled my business on her. Out the car, went up to the police station and pressed charges on her. And let me tell you why I did that. I did that because, first of all, I tried to de-escalate the two sisters. Secondly, I should not have had to get out of character as a woman to deal with that, period. And this is another thing. When we get in domestic violence situations, yes, we can call on God in that moment. But it's so hard when you've been hit and you're trapped and you can't breathe. But that woman, there's a defense for her. What does that woman do?
Right.
You know, because it happens. I've been in that situation.
Let me ask this here. Could this be as where you got men, they pour into women, and this goes back to the emotional, to where he does everything. You know, he give her this, he shower her with gifts, and she still treats him like he's a nobody.
That's ungrateful.
And after so
At
long,
all.
after,
At
so,
all.
Somebody don't get that.
after so long, this man he's fed up. And then one day she does it, and then that's just when he flies off the hook, and then there it is. So sometimes, and I'm not taking up a man because no man shitting a woman else.
And,
This could be a case as to where this man had that build up, and it goes back to what do you call it? God,
like pressure.
oh, you know, in a relationship, and then he does something they call it.
Tip chat.
No, when it builds up,
No, I lost my train of thought. They call it oh no,
Love bombing.
no. It's,
And I say that for a reason.
okay, go. No, why you said it for a reason?
Because what I find is a lot of times when it's a strong black woman, and I can only speak for me.
I get that.
I want
You can't be too strong nowadays either.
Right? If you're with a man and he's intimidated by your growth and by your strength, I have seen it and I have been a victim of it until I learned what the scheme was. And it's love bombing. People will evaluate you. People will know you before you notice them.
I've never heard of that.
They've been watching you and they see you progressing. They see the house you got. They see the job you have. They see the joy that you have. And it's something about you they need. And they've watched you long enough to evaluate you and to know your triggers. So they come and they pour all that love, the money, they pour, they
Just to
pour
hook you in.
to hook you in, to make you feel like he loves me.
Mhm.
I need him, and he would never, and he would always.
Don't
And
forget you.
as soon as he gets you, he cuts you off and drops you. Not physically, but emotionally,
Yeah.
because he knows we're emotional creatures.
Yeah.
But why should you have a hidden agenda going into a relationship?
Because people are codependent. A lot of times, people are not getting in relationships from marriage.
Okay, like me, I think that I'm being too bold. Because
they need
when I meet a guy, like this is my thing. If a guy tells me he wants sex, I'm telling him I want marriage.
Right.
You know, I can't. This is just as important to me as this is to you.
Yeah.
So,
and if they know they're hurting you, that's why you gotta be.
but 9 times out of 10, most men are not looking at the character.
That's manipulation what you went through. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it is men out there that's like that when they see a powerful black woman. You know, they feel like she's too above
So they
their
wanna
standards.
knock you
You know, so they knock you down to be equal
Mhm.
or even lesser. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. For example, that's pimping. If you think about it,
Right on.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That-
That's
that's-
what it is.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on.
Basically, that's what
It
that
is.
is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never saw a pimp that look at his female higher than he is
Come on.
That's right.
at
And
all.
where do they get that mindset? Watching mama,
Watching mama,
watching daddy.
seeing what's going on the slab.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And men do that to women, and women do that to men.
Yes,
You know
exactly,
what
they
I'm
do.
saying? You know what I'm
It's a
saying?
two-way
And,
street.
and if you're dealing with somebody like that, that person is not for you, because I want somebody that's greater than me, period.
Yes, but
You know
they
what I'm saying?
present
But I can go up there
themselves
with
as
them.
Right.
great. But remember, I said I left home at 15.
Right.
Remember, I said I dropped out of school. So a lot of times people have problems in relationships because they haven't attained a higher level of
Do y'all
education
agree?
to know what
What?
they're dealing with in the culture. They don't know what to look for. They don't even know how to label
Let
it.
me interject. Did you ever think that you were stuck?
Yes.
See, and that's another thing. People get stuck in their trauma or their circumstance. And what was the number one thing with you that helped you transition was God, right?
No, the number one thing that it helped me transition was a higher education.
Okay.
because I dropped out of school, and you gotta understand when you're achieving things in your life, it increases the dopamine and the serotonin in
Right,
your
in
mind.
your mind.
It helps you to understand I can do this. I did it before. I got this. But when you see a list of failures in your life, I can't do failure. It brings you real low emotionally. So I got out of my emotions a long time ago, and then I decided that the only way that I would be able to get out of what I was in was to get a higher education, even though I knew what I was doing. Jobs wouldn't give me an opportunity until I could prove it. I didn't have a GED, and back in the day, we could lie on our
Right,
resume
that's right.
and say, I got a GED. And that would let you work if you could prove it, or you could do whatever it is that you had to do to show your work.
Yes, that's right.
But then they started increasing the checkpoints. So you can't just lie and say you have a GED. You better have that paperwork to back it up. So I had to get the paperwork to prove that I deserved to be in a different room than the one I was in. And then when I got that degree, I turned around and got another one. I just kept going to school, and I kept going to school. And the more I learned, and the more people I was around who were large individuals, I understood that the world wasn't all as bad as I came from. I understood that everybody isn't like what I had to experience, and it took for me to be in a different room. But in order for me to get into a different room, I had to be uncomfortable in this room because I had dropped out at 15. I don't think I got my GED until I was 23. I'm 40
But you got
today.
it. So happy birthday.
Thank you. No, I'm 40 March.
Oh,
March 15th.
oh, okay.
I just turned 40, but today I
Yes.
am 40.
Yes, yes.
Well, say, let me jump in there, y'all. We got a few minutes left here.
Okay.
Hey, man, I want to thank y'all for coming today. And Dominique, we want to work on you, to come back to the podcast show, doing your own show.
Yes.
And not only that,
We need to talk about
Mr.
Mr.
We can extend our hands to you, and we can create something for you, and so, but before we get off here, hey, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in again to South Dallas Politics with your host, Mr. Kevin McGee. Got Mr. Byron over here, Ms. Dominique over here,
Dominique
and
Morris,
Miss
the street
Erica.
advocate.
Before we get off here, tell us your author, right?
I am an author.
So tell us or tell them,
I'm dead.
the name of your book, and there it is. Before we get off.
All right, so I've got a book out, and it's on Amazon right now, and it's titled Lessons Learned Along the Journey. And this book was my very first project as a professional author. And it was a book inspired by revelation passed down by the Holy Spirit. And so I had to interpret it from the heavenly language to a very relatable way for other people to understand. So the first book, it was nothing but the word of God, just boom, 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 and it didn't do so well. So I set it there, and the Lord told me to leave it for free for the whole year until I wrote the revision. He said, leave it for free, leave it for $0 as long as they subscribe to Amazon Prime. And I was like, I'm in here for money. What do you mean? And the Lord said that I was going to have to pay for the position that I was moving into. Not because Amazon asked for it, but because people don't understand that there is a price for greatness. And
Greatness is the whole meaning.
I had to pay that price. And he said, but don't you stop working. So I kept modifying and making revisions, and we're finally at the door. May 30th is the day that the revision will drop. It is 100%.
Yes.
I'm sure that it is going to be relatable to every individual. And the book just speaks of the supernatural gift of duality that a lot of people have not learned or earned. And I want to teach you how to step into both realms and intermingle between them both to be successful and not lose yourself. The first story that you guys are going to engage in is simply about a gentleman who encountered a friend that he had grown up with that switched up on him. How many of us have been in relationships with people who switched up on us. We thought we knew them, but they changed. And we didn't notice the switch up until it affected our lives in a detrimental way or our family in a detrimental way. So this book is written to bring awareness to not just ourselves, but the people around us. And it also provides strategy and a blueprint to make better choices when it comes to filling yourself up and meeting and connecting with the right people that's on your journey.
So hey, that's amazing. So here we go now. You say, God told you keep working and you had to pay for it, but I'm gonna say that we don't want to pay for it. When your book comes out, we love to have a copy of your book, so we put over in the glass case with everybody else's book over there.
Okay.
So yeah, you think about us when that book come out.
And see, there's other authors' books over there. You have Isaac Aikmo's book over there.
I'll let you have my book, but I don't want it to sit down in that case. I want it to stand up on the display.
We'll have to probably find something on it. Yes.
So I want you to see, we got football up here.
Yep.
So that was Coach Lemon's nephew, Xavier Gibson. He's from Dallas,
Oh, wow.
and he had
I did his interview. It was amazing.
so he had a watch party to get drafted. And he got drafted that night. So fast forward, he plays for the Jets, and when the Jets played, I think it was Green Bay on Monday night, and they they pumped the ball off to him, and this is first
Did
game.
you cry when he gave you
No. He ran that punt back for a touchdown and won the game. His first game.
First game.
So that's autographed football. He sent to Jackson to be great. So I put in that case,
Look at that.
and that case cost me $105.
I love
So I just appreciate having that. Then of course, we got the grate right there. I got to put that in something there because I don't need it.
You got
There's no
to.
dust.
That's
over
right.
there. So, but yeah, we love to have a copy of your book.
Most definitely.
And we'll definitely find somewhere to put it up, and hey, there it is. So hey y'all, we're gonna give it the end of this thing here. $7 Politics. I'm your host, Mr. Kevin McGee. Tune in Friday to my brother's show, Life Behind Bars, Inspired Voice of Life Behind Bars, with your host, Mr. Keenan McGee, and then Mo Money, and hey, they're doing some great things, and any kids that's out there that's wild out doing crazy things out there in these streets and think that the gang got their back. They need to just watch this show here, call and say, hey, Mr. McGee, can you come out?
I need an uncle.
There it is.
I need an
Yeah,
uncle.
we'll come right on down and plant that seed.
Right.
But you won't get out of here. Dominique, Byron, Erica, Ashley. Hey man, thank y'all for tuning in tonight.
Thank you.
We'll do it again on next week. So every Wednesday, $7 Politics with your host, Mr. Kevin McGee, and 7 to 8. So hey, we out.
Yeah.
Peace.